Okay, let's do another example here. Let me just get this out of the way because we don't want that in our, why is it there? Okay, so now again, we're using a table of values here, and we're going to answer two questions. So first question says, if you use 0 minutes on your plan, what is the monthly cost? So you need to think logically. If you're not going to use any minutes on your plan, okay, and you pay per minute that you use, how much money do you think that you will be spending? Okay, so key here is you will spend $0 because you don't use any minutes. And in this case, your cost is dependent on how many minutes you use, okay? So I'm noticing here my variables are labeled X and Y. X is minutes, cost is the Y value. So the question says, estimate the cost of 800 minutes. So I need to figure out first, what is the equation I'm going to work with to be able to solve for this. And I also want to annotate 800 is represented by minutes. So if I'm looking here, minutes is X, so I know X is equal to 800. Super important that you label here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with what I'm given. First step, I always write Y equals MX plus B. Okay, so I need to find the slope, so the ROC. We already know the y-intercept. We just answered it, but we'll get back to that. Okay, so that's when x is equal to 0. So starting with 2, let's find the ROC. So I know based on this, I need to find the change in y over the change in x because I'm given a table. So I'm going to go up here, start with my y. So from 14 to 20, here I am adding $6. From 20 to 26, I'm adding $6. From 26 to 32, I am adding $6. So seems consistent. 32 to 38 is about $6 as well. Okay, so I have the change in y. Let's do the change in x. Okay, so I'm adding 100 each time. Looks like here. Okay, awesome. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here. I'm going to substitute in. So the change in y across the board was 6, so that's going to go on top. The change in x was 100 here. And I am going to simplify as much as I can. So I have about 3 on top because I'm just going to divide it by 2. Divide by 2. So if I simplify it down, it will approximately be, let's see if 3 goes into 50. No, it doesn't. So this would be my slope, okay? So let's talk about the y-intercept, 3. Okay, so the y-intercept here, I'm noticing is when x is equal to 0. So x is equal to 0 here. We already talked about it. Like basically minutes is x. So if you spend 0 minutes a month, we already talked about that. Y, the cost is going to be 0. So we actually already know the y-intercept, which is going to be y, is going to be 0. So that makes my life easy because when I go to write my equation, y equals mx plus b, I am going to now substitute in my slope. I found my slope here, so my end value here was 3 over 50, so 3 over 50x plus 0, because 0 here is my y-intercept. Now I can actually answer the question, which is 800 minutes. I'm noticing x is equal to 800. So for the last step here, I'm going to substitute in, so y equals 3 over 50x plus 0, knowing x is equal to 800. So I have to substitute this into the equation. So y is going to be equal to 3 over 50 times 800, okay, to find my final cost. So when I do this and I plug it into the calculator, okay, the cost of my plan is going to end up being about $48, okay? And we also can verify that. I'm just saying you can also verify this too by going up to the table. So if you were to continue your table here, okay, notice how we ended up at 500, we could do 600 because we know